afternoon, everybody. What a special day in the city of Brockton, Massachusetts. Today we honor a Brocktonian. And as we've said many times, once a Brocktonian, always a Brocktonian. So today, my name is Robert Sullivan. I am the mayor of the city of Brockton, the city of Massachusetts that is known as the City of Champions. Today I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I want to thank Mr. Mark Davis for being here. We're going to give him a little goodie bag from the City of Brockton. This time we're actually going to have Deacon Mark Henderson please come to the podium. He is the unbelievable father. He traveled a distance. He's a great Raiders fan, but he's also the dad of Courtney Henderson in my office, who you'll hear from in just a minute. Deacon.
Good day, Brockton. Truly is the day that the Lord has made. Rejoice. Be glad in it as we celebrate around you. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Lord, we thank you for this day, Lord. Lord, we thank you for the day we're looking together as people, as football fans, as a love of football, and love of this city. Lord, I hope that something is said today that will motivate these young people to do great things in their lives. Al Davis gave people opportunities, minorities, women, in order to succeed. And I hope that we take that in our own lives to help other people to succeed regardless of their circumstances and what racism others have taught us. I just win faith when it comes to things like that. And I want to give God all the praise and all the honors, and also the people that put this together. May all God's people say, amen, amen, amen.
So I do want to thank, I know a lot of people traveled quite a distance to come here today to the city of Brockton, and so as someone that grew up in the city of Brockton, I just want to give you a couple of facts about the city of Brockton, because again, it is a special place. Back in the day, we were the shoe capital of the world. We had shoe factories everywhere. During World War I and World War II, the GIs are wearing combat boots. 90% of those were made here in the city of Brockton. Brockton has always been a city, a welcoming, inclusive, diverse city of immigrants. My own grandparents came here from Ireland to work in the shoe factories. My wife's from Italy to work in the shoe factories. And at the end of the day, we come together as a community of champions. Now people say, Bob, why do they call Brockton the City of Champions? Well, there's a couple reasons. First of all, Rocky Marciano, the only undefeated heavyweight champion in the world, the Brockton Blockbuster, was from the city of Brockton. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, the greatest middleweight boxer in the history of boxing, from the city of Brockton. Sports has always been an integral, oh yeah, give Marvelous one a clap, please. But sports has always been an integral part of the city of Brockton. Franklin Sporting Goods started here in the city. We also had, at the time, it's no longer existed, but Stahl & Dean, which is a manufacturer of footballs. My grandmother worked there and was a stitcher. If you go to a lot of these sports arenas around the country, you see W.B. Mason, right? They're always in the outfield, especially baseball. W.B. Mason started here in Brockton in 1880. It's still across the street, the corporate office. Thomas Edison came here for 2 years. This beautiful building is City Hall. To the left of it is a brick building. It's the Edison building. And Edison lived here for 2 years, and we are the first electrified fire station in the country here in Brockton that's still operational. First electrified movie theater, first electrified streetlight, all in Brockton. A really wealthy guy that made it big in the oil industry grew up in Brockton named Edgar Davis, and he actually made his money out in Texas, came back here, and he was the first department store Santa Claus in the entire world here in the city of Brockton. Frederick Douglass, the abolitionist, that would come to Brockton on High Street, which is now Frederick Douglass Way, to speak about the evils of slavery. There's a tree there called the Liberty Tree that Douglass himself stood at, and it's a piece of history here in Brockton. And I just, you know, as a kid that grew up in Brockton, I'm just amazed that we would have Mark Davis, we'd have Heisman Trophy, two-time Super Bowl winner Jim Plunkett here as well. So the connection of the New England Patriots and the Raiders is real. I do have to give a shout out to Mr. Kraft, Robert Kraft, because during the pandemic, COVID, we lost over 500 people to the deadly virus here in Brockton, and Mr. Kraft came here in the height of COVID and donated a truck that we used to go door to door to give vaccines to people. And I'll tell you, at the end of the day, it saved lives. So, you know, the Raiders and the connection of the Patriots, and tomorrow is going to be a phenomenal game. But again, Jim Plunkett started his career with the Pats, and then he went to the Raiders and won 2 Super Bowls, right? Howie Long, number 75 for the Raiders. Grew up in Charlestown, Mass. He's a Pats fan, and now he's in the Hall of Fame as a Raider. The greatest quarterback in the history of mankind, Tom Brady. 6 Super Bowls for the Pats, 1 for the Bucks. Now he's in the ownership group for the Raiders. So the connections are real, right? And when I grew up as a kid, and my dad was a teacher, my mom was a nurse, we didn't have any money. I couldn't go to a Pats game, but I love Steve Grogan, I love John Hanna, I love Stanley Morgan, but I love Jim Plunkett. You know who else I love? Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson and Matt Miller. I really just think that the connection is real. And when you come here today and you see these Raiders fans, they're respectful because they understand what Al Davis means. And he created, it's carried on by his son, he created not just a winning football formula, but he also understood what it meant to be inclusive and welcoming and diverse. The Deacon just shared with us some information, and it's something that we can all learn from. Al Davis, kid that grew up on Spring Street here in the City of Champions, he was the first GM to ever hire a black coach, a Latino coach, and a woman GM. He also was the first to ever draft a black quarterback in the NFL draft. So, you know, he was way ahead of his time because he understands that it doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter your background, your financial services background, how much money you have in the bank. What it means is to be kind. We're in the people business. We wake up every day to try to make a difference, to help people. And that's why I am thrilled to see the next generation, our young Brockton Raider football teams here today. These kids are the next generation. I actually have to give a shout out to my office, my team, Courtney Henderson. She really put this together, and my chief of staff, Sydney Amaro, and you know, we had a vision, and I never imagined that it would be this many people, and to actually have Mr. Davis and his team here. I just didn't think that would happen, but timing kind of aligned, right? So, you know, with the game tomorrow, and I sent a letter, and I think his office called probably like the minute they opened that letter and said, yes, we'll be there. That speaks volumes for him and his team. But my team came together because of a gentleman that works for the Boston Bruins, and you'll hear from him, Keith Ritchie. Keith reached out to me about a half a year ago, 6 months ago. I didn't know the guy. He sent me an email and he told me about Al Davis, and I said, let's have a Zoom. And we had a Zoom. We talked about the history of Raiders football in Oakland and LA and Vegas. And at the end of the day, he said, could you do something before you leave? And I'm leaving as mayor. I'm done in January. I've done 6 years as mayor, 14 years as a city council, so 20 years is enough. It's time to pass the torch. But, you know, I said to him, before I leave, I promise you, we will honor Al Davis. And that's what we're doing here today. So before you leave the city of Brockton today, I would humbly ask you to do 2 things. 2 streets away from here is an unbelievable statue that we put up last year for Marvelous Marvin Hagler. And then, when you're leaving to get back on the highway, Route 24, we have Brockton High School there. And Brockton High School is the largest public high school east of the Mississippi. When I went there in the 80s, it was 5,000 students. But what we have there is Rocky Marciano Stadium and Coach Armin Colombo football field. And I had the honor to play football in the 80s under Coach Colombo, and he's in the Massachusetts Football Hall of Fame and winningest high school coach in the history of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. But there's a gift there from the World Boxing Council in Mexico, and it is the largest sports statue in the Northern Hemisphere. It's huge. It's unbelievable, of Rocky Marciano. So it is worth a visit before you leave here to see those 2 iconic individuals. We are going to unveil our tribute to Mr. Davis in just a moment. But one last thing I wanted to say about football in Brockton. We've actually had a lot of graduates from Brockton High School go on to the NFL. There was a gentleman in the 70s named Ken McAfee. He was a tight end. He played for Notre Dame. He got drafted 3rd overall. He went to play for the 49ers and played a couple years in the NFL, and now he's an oral surgeon here on the South Shore of closer to Cape Cod. And when I played, we had a guy named Greg McMurtry. He was our wide receiver, and he went on to play for Bull Schemblecker at Michigan, and he played for the Patriots and the Bears. And another guy I had the fortune to play with, a guy named Moody Harris, running back, and he played for the Buccaneers. So there is a connection here to Brockton, to sports, to the NFL, and I'd like to say thank God to Al Davis and his legacy. So at this time, I'm going to have Courtney Henderson come up to the podium, followed by Mr. Ritchie. We'll hear a couple kind words from Mr. Davis, and then we will do what you're all here for, to see the unveiling of this unbelievable tribute to the man and the legend. Let's win, baby. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor to stand here before you as we unveil this commemorative plaque for Al Davis. When I think about his legacy, what stands out to me most is his unwavering commitment to civil rights and equality. He didn't just stand for the game of football, he helped change the culture around it. Through his actions, he opened doors for countless football players, coaches, executives, and creating opportunities where they didn't exist before. His vision of fairness and inclusivity continues to shape the sport and serve as a reminder of the impact one leader can make. It has truly been an honor and privilege to lead the planning of this event and to ensure that this honor to honor the legacy of Al Davis properly. Today we don't just honor him for his achievement in football, we honor him for the doors he opened and the path he cleared for so many of us to come after him. Thank you, Mayor Sullivan, for trusting me to put this together, and thank you, Mark Davis, for having me host this. It has been a true pleasure. Thank you.
Keith Ritchie, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Keith. I was born a Los Angeles Raiders fan. Grew up an Oakland Raiders fan. Now and forever a Las Vegas Raiders fan. So as you can imagine, I'm a little nervous being up here talking in front of you guys. I'm also a lifelong New Englander, so it's always been pretty cool to me that Al Davis is also from New England. In 1962, the Raiders won just one game. The next year, they hired a 33-year-old Al Davis, the youngest head coach in league history at the time. He led that one-win team to 10 wins and only 4 losses and was awarded Coach of the Year. Immediate success, and from there, the rest was history. 57 years with the Raiders, 16 consecutive winning seasons from 1965 to 1980, 3 Super Bowl championships, and forever enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But as impressed as I am with his on-the-field success, I'm even more inspired by what he did off the field. He was one of the great leaders of the 20th century. While the rest of the league did things one way, he did it his way because he chased what he believed in. The mayor mentioned some of the people he's hired. While the rest of the league didn't give opportunities to these people, Al Davis did because they were the best people for the job. And when the Raiders were scheduled to play in cities where black and white players weren't allowed to stay in the same hotel, Davis and the Raiders didn't go. He did it his way, even if he was the only one. While the rest of the league changes their uniforms or changes their logo, the Raiders logo and silver and black uniform have both remained for over 60 years. He recognized the strength of their brand and how important that consistent identity was, not only on the field, but also as a business and for the community of fans. A certain self-awareness that other teams lack. When people say silver and black, just those 2 colors, you know exactly who they're talking about. Al Davis knew early on how important that was. And while the rest of the league has marketing departments who try to create catchy new slogans every few years, Al Davis organically said things which still live on decades later and have now become folklore. So while he dominated football games, he also became one of the great American leaders and also a sports business genius. His career could be a case study in college for best marketing practices. The Raiders are one of the few teams that don't retire jersey numbers, another conscious decision by this great leader, which further strengthens the team-first philosophy. No one is bigger than the Raiders shield. And also by honoring a few players, he would have been leaving out many others, which just wasn't his style. He loved all of his players. Which brings me to my next point, and perhaps what I admire the most. Nobody valued former players more than Al Davis. And the Raiders continue to do this today with hands down the most proactive alumni relations in the industry. And former players appreciated him back. In fact, 9 different Hall of Famers chose him to make their introduction speech. That's a record. No person has ever done that 9 times. He also respected opposing players. when superstar player Derek Thomas, who played for the Raiders' rival Kansas City, was hospitalized after a bad accident, Davis went to see him. Days later, he passed away, and Davis paid for the funeral. The world needs more Al Davises. So while many think of him as a football genius, he was so much more than that. He perfected how to lead people, not just boss to player, but human to human. And in doing so, he built a world-class sports organization. The Raiders are a model of what other teams strive to look like, and Al Davis built that foundation from scratch. And on a personal note, as I enter my 15th season working on the business side of pro sports, I strive to replicate his philosophies in my own team in Boston. The way Al Davis approached the Raiders is a blueprint of how to approach life. He was fearless, he went with his gut, even if it was against the majority. It's said that life imitates art, but life imitates sports too, and that's what makes his contributions so important. So I think I speak for everyone when I say thank you to Mayor Sullivan, Sidney Merrow, Courtney Henderson, and the City of Brockton for honoring him today. And as a fan, I say thank you to Mark Davis and the organization for continuously keeping his spirit and his philosophies alive in the team today. And I hope that every time a Brockton Raiders youth football player walks by this plaque, they are inspired and reminded of how far a kid from Brockton can go in this world. Thank you all.
So Keith, that was phenomenal. I spoke to Keith just a little while ago. He said he was kind of nervous and he doesn't like the public speak. I think he just knocked out of the park right there. One other thing, again, as the #1 cheerleader for the City of Brockton, I have to say I've never seen these unbelievable shoes that Jim Plunkett is wearing. But guess where foot choice started? Here in Brockton, Massachusetts. Can't get away from Brockton. So I'm going to give an official mayoral citation right now to Mr. Mark Davis. The family, it's actually to the family of Mr. Al Davis. Mr. Davis, please. Office of the Mayor, City of Brockton, official citation. Be it known that the Mayor of Brockton hereby extends his congratulations to the family of Mr. Al Davis in recognition of the unveiling of the Al Davis commemorative plaque at Brockton City Hall. The City of Brockton proudly honors Al Davis, a distinguished native son and legendary figure in the National Football League, for his extraordinary contributions to the game and to our nation's sporting history. As a visionary leader, trailblazer, and champion for inclusion, Al Davis broke barriers and helped pave the way for a more diverse and equitable NFL. His enduring legacy continues to inspire generations in Brockton and beyond. Therefore, it gives me great pleasure to present this citation to you, Mr. Davis, as a symbol not just of my appreciation, it's our collective appreciation. Those that are here and those that wish they were here. The citation is duly signed by myself, Robert F. Sullivan, Mayor of the City of Brockton, this 6th day of September in the year 2025. Mr. Davis.
A couple of words here. Rocky Marciano, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Al Davis, Brockton, the City of Champions. My grandfather, Lewis Davis, came here in the early 1900s. And with his wife, Rose, my grandmother, Rose Davis, had 2 children in Brockton, Massachusetts. Jerry Davis, 5 years later, Al Davis. So the genes and the DNA of the Davis family resides right here in Brockton. And even further than that, it also resides in the Raider Nation. Yeah. And I'm just so proud of Brockton and recognizing my father. It just means the world to me. And I look forward to going over and visiting his house here in a little bit and seeing how it looks. But I want to thank everybody here in Brockton for recognizing him, and more so than the sports things, but the things that he did off the field. And I think that's the most important thing and the biggest lesson that he brings. And I think a lot of that came from here in Brockton, Massachusetts. So I just want to thank you all, and I appreciate everything you've done, and I'm excited.
So we are going to unveil the plaque, and it's an unbelievable plaque. But I want to just let you know what you're going to see today is a realistic example of what will be installed on Tuesday. The bronze plaque finishing touches are being done right now in Bridgewater, Massachusetts, right next door. Yeah! They were going to have it done next week, and of course we wanted to accommodate Mr. Davis and the Raiders and Raiders Nation being here for the Pats game tomorrow. So what you're going to see is what will be installed, and I didn't say when, I didn't say any of that. I didn't say that, but I also just want to let you know that we have larger than life size of the, we're going to show it right now actually. And we're going to give this to Mr. Davis and he can bring it down to Las Vegas. But this is actually what you're going to see in a moment. So when we decided to do this, I asked my DPW commissioner, Pat Hill, and his team, I said, listen, silver and black, we need to find black granite. I want this thing to be black granite. And they had to find it up in New Hampshire, but they found black granite. And then they were going to mulch around it, and I said, what are you doing? You're going to use brown mulch? No, black mulch. You have to use black mulch. So I think we dotted the I's, we crossed the T's. If you're a Raiders fan, you're going to be extremely, extremely happy with what you see. And again, I welcome you back here to the City of Champions anytime, absolutely anytime. It's an open door policy. We welcome you, we embrace you, but more importantly, we thank you. Today is a phenomenal day, and will go down in the history of the City of Champions. Thank you very much.